So first we will import all the packages since we install all of them. Okay, so from Flask we need to import Flask and then render a template, request, redirect, and URL for and session. Okay, and then from SQL Alchemy we need to import create engine and text, and from SQL Alchemy dot execute import SQL Alchemy error. Yeah, now from OpenAI we will import OpenAI, import OS and import RE. So we will write some regex operations for that we need, and also .env to load that OpenAI key. Import load.env, and we can just call this load.env, so we can make use of .env variables. So first let create this instance app equal to Flask underscore name underscore. Yep. And then app dot secret key equal to os dot get env. So from here we will read that value. So I will just set this for now, like for Flask secret key you can set it another value. So in env I have not defined it. I will just write it here. You can keep it anything. So I will just write secret key. Okay, and then so now we will need to configure the OpenAI. So here client equal to OpenAI and API key option, and here we need to provide that value was .get env. And since in env, right, I have stored OpenAI API key. So again, this is example I am showing, right? I can't show you the real key, but you need to save it in .env only, not in .env.example. Okay, so this is for your demo purpose. So yeah, so it will read that file and create the client connection. Now I will just write the structure how we will go about this whole application. So we will need one function to generate SQL from natural language, and what it will take, like natural language query. So whatever users say, like get me all the users, get me all the active users, yeah, things like that. And then we will also provide like schema info, and by default none. Okay, and inside this we will write it, but yeah, for now I will just define the structure, right? And then we will also need another function. So now this is for the to get the schema, right? DB schema. So get DB schema and engine, and then DB type. Yeah, so we will give option to select the Postgres or MySQL. So based on that it will do that functionality. Yeah, then other thing is we will need get DB URL. So here we will pass DB type then db host, then db port, then db name. So these are all the things that will come from the user, right? And we will build the database query using that. And db user and db password. Okay, and then I think one more function is needed. Now let's say if we select the Postgres database, right? So there we need to add codes to the table name and columns name, right? So to do that, we will define one function. So def quote identifiers if Postgres. Okay, and here we will pass SQL query. So whatever query generated by the LLM, and we'll pass db type. Okay, so once this is done, so let me add proper breakings. Okay, now what else do we need? We got the db URL. So now we will start defining routes. So app dot route. So on by default we will serve the index page, right? Index.html. So that part we need to write. So in here it will also accept the methods. Get and post. So get, post, and def index. So here if request dot method if it is post, then somebody has submitted the connection details, right? Because on index page we are taking the database connection details like localhost, database username, database password. Yeah, so we need to store that thing in the session, right? So session db type. Okay, this is actually a key value pair. Yep, and request dot form dot get, here db type. So here we will pass the if it is Postgres or MySQL, right? So same thing we need. I will just copy it. So one is for name, password, and all. Yeah. Then another is host. So host value, it can be server IP address, right, or localhost. db host, in db host variable we will get those values. So in index.html we will define form, and there we will give the name to IDs and names, right? So whenever someone submits that form, it will detect this post request and store it in the session variable, and we will make use of that in those functions to detect the data, right? And then we also need port. So database ports, right? So if it is Postgres, then it is 5432, and if it is MySQL, then it is 3306. Yep. So then again we will take it from db port, and next thing is database name. So we will take it from database name, and another is database password. Yeah, before that let's take username, yeah, and then password. Okay, and in here db underscore password. Okay, so in forms we will submit those input fields, and it will be stored in the session. Okay, and then what we can do is let's just return it from here. That okay, let's do it in the if itself. Obviously redirect to the next page because we are on the index and then we got the data. Now we will redirect to the query page, right? So redirect URL for query. Yep. And we need to show for slash route index page. So render template index.html. Okay, so that's for the slash index query. Now when someone submits the submits at slash query, right, visit at that page, we will write code for that. So query, and it will also accept the get and post request. Yep. And definition function query. So here we will write its data. Okay, so for now let's comment it here and let's comment this also. So we just wanted to see, right, the index page. And let's start our app. If underscore underscore name underscore double equal to main. And then we can start using app.run debug equal to true. Okay, let's save it and let's run it. Python 3 dot slash app dot py. Okay, our app is working on this URL. So if I copy this link and visit, let's visit in this tab only. So you can see like index page, obviously it is not visible, but yeah, let me add some content right here. Hi, this is index page. So if I save this and go back there, refresh, so you can see index page is visible here. Yeah, so now let's go back to index page and write its data. Okay, so from index page what we will do, we will accept the database connection for that, and we will send that database connection value to our Python, which we already done here. Yeah, and then redirect to the query page. In the query page we will ask for user input, like what they want to search for, and we will show that results in the result page. So let's go step by step. In the index page itself, let's ask for the user input, right? So here, so instead of focusing on the styles, I will just focus on the functionality for now, and then we can always add styles later. Yeah, so database connection and form method post. So in here we'll create division. Let's give it some class. Actually for this we don't need, let's focus on the functionality for now, then later we can always add it. And then label database type, and division. So here we can add small class db options, and label class db option itself, and on click it will execute this, select db type, and so PostgreSQL, and also its port 5432. Okay, and this function we will define it in the JavaScript below, but yeah, for now I just called it here itself when someone clicks on that level. And inside that I will show the input of type radio with the name db type and value PostgreSQL, and by default it will be checked. PostgreSQL. Okay, now same thing we can copy paste for the another database, that is MySQL. So it will be a DB option, but the ports are different. So 3306 by default port, and MySQL value when someone selects this, and obviously we will change the value here. Okay, now we need another division. So in here we will give simple label. It is for the DB host, and let's take user input, the host name. So use input type of text, and its ID will be DB host, which obviously matches with our app.py, right? DB underscore type DB underscore host. Yeah, so that's what we are gathering here. And then name of DB underscore host, so it will be a required value, and by default it is a local host. Okay, so now for other inputs I can just copy paste. So for one is needed for host, then port, then database name, then username and password. Okay, so let's do this. Host, port, so db underscore, so this value is right. So see if the word is similar in the multiple places, right? So you just need to double tap it, so it will select, and then press Ctrl D, so it will select all the instances of it, and you can edit all of them in the one go. So now I can just write db underscore port. Okay, so that is very nice feature of VS Code. So if you are on the Mac, then press the command dd instead of Ctrl D. Yeah, so db port is also done, but see here the value for port it is 5432, right? Because by default we selected Postgres, and the by default value is 5432, so that's why. Now the third thing, that is database name. So here again we will do that Ctrl D and edit them at the same time. DB name, and here actually we don't need to give value here because it can be different. So because DB host and port is kind of common thing, so that's why I gave the default value. Okay, so database name is done. Then third thing is username, database username, and we will store it in the db underscore user. And then third is password, and here we will store it in the db underscore password. Yeah, and for this type will be a password, so it will, when user types, it will be a hidden, in the star format. Okay, password can be blank, right? So sometimes it won't work, so let's remove required from the input. Okay, and at last we will have this button. with type submit, and we will show connect on that button. So let's write that JavaScript function. So let's create a script tag and ensure that let's define select db type. It will accept db type and default port, and we will read it from document dot get element by id db underscore port dot value equal to default port, and we will also update the selected options. So document dot query selector all db option dot for each option will loop through, and opt dot class list dot remove selected, and event dot current target dot class list dot add selected. So basically what we are saying here, right, select db type function. So we show on the UI two options, PostgreSQL or C. Here I did the mistake to show the MySQL, right? Correct. Okay. So on UI we will show PostgreSQL and MySQL option. So let's say someone clicks on MySQL, then we will remove selected from the both of the options and then add to the MySQL only, because that is the current selected option, right? So that's what we are doing. And also we will, whatever option you have selected, right, we are setting the value of db port to that selected value. So that is it's all about. Okay, so let's save this. It should auto refresh, and if I go to UI it will look very ugly, but yeah, let's see. Okay, so that's the thing. See, when I click on the options, it update the ports value, right?